This review was made possible by contributions from viewers like you.
Hey guys, we're here at SoCal Games and Comics celebrating Free Comic Book Day. A few weeks ago, when I released my voting video for this next block of reviews, my executive producers voted on Grimm Fairy Tales Presents Wonderland and Header M, Love of Wonder. As for the rest of you guys who voiced your opinions without becoming an executive producer, the overall consensus was that you wanted to see me do the all-new, all-different Avengers and Teen Titans Go. We're going to be looking at the aforementioned Wonderland comics next week, but for this week, I'm going to do you a favor and review these comics that you all wanted so much. But this is just a one-time thing, okay? Next time if you want to vote, you need to become one of my executive producers just like the others did. There are those in my audience who are looking at this cover and are thinking, wait a minute, the Avengers look a little different. Yeah, Marvel's been going through some changes of late. In their effort to reflect the more diverse world in which we live, Marvel Comics has taken some of their more iconic heroes and given them different races, genders, and religions. You're probably well aware of the stereotype of the flaming comic book nerd who loses his shit every time a character is arbitrarily changed like this. I'm going to say something a little bit crazy here, and I do hope that there are people who actually work within the comics industry who can hear this. Most comic readers actually don't have a problem with diverse characters. What they have a problem with is enjoying a character for years, maybe even decades, and suddenly that character is taken away from them, and they're told that they have to enjoy this new character, or else they're just a bunch of hateful, closed-minded bigots. That's not a good way to endear your audience to something new. It's also a matter of how that character is presented to us, and how other characters in-universe react to him. I don't dislike Miles Morales because he's black. I dislike Miles Morales because Nick Fury, aka Samuel L. Jackson, accepted this incredibly less experienced Spider-Man after only 5 issues, while he stayed on Peter Parker's case for his entire run of Ultimate Spider-Man comics. Conversely, I don't know the circumstances that brought in Sam Wilson as the new Captain America, but if the character in the comics is as patriotic as what we see in the movies, I can easily picture him as the new Cap. A couple of years ago, I made a video saying Michelle Rodriguez playing a Green Lantern might work, because the Green Lantern isn't a superhero. It's a job. Anyone could be a Lantern if the Power Ring considers him, her, or it worthy enough to be one. However, making Thor into a woman just looks arbitrary and pandering. Why not make a new comic line featuring the awesomeness of Lady Sif, or some other Asgardian goddess? I haven't read this new Thor, so I have no idea if they're going back to the original idea of Thor in which Mjolnir grants the powers of Thor to any schmuck that might happen to be worthy, but that Thor hasn't been used in decades. For most of Marvel's history, Thor was literally the god of thunder. This is just the way things are. The sky is blue, New York has tall buildings, and Thor is a male god. It's just something that you'd never think of questioning. On that note, I'm sorry, but some supervillainess surrenders to the new Thor just on the grounds that she's a woman and needs to be respected for being so? No. Just no. I used to follow the webcomic Broken Plot Device several years ago, and when it revealed in one of its later story arcs that one of its main characters was gay, I just learned something new that I didn't know before about this character that I had already endeared to. When DC Comics made a big deal over the introduction of the new lesbian Batwoman, who incidentally was originally created for no other reason than to be a love interest for Batman, it was face-palming and eye-rolling. It also didn't help that this out-and-out proud lesbian turned out to be a stereotypical angry bitch. How progressive. If you want to tell me that a black, female college student can create an armored suit like what Tony Stark would create, by all means, tell that story. We could use a character like this to sell science to women. But don't advertise her as Iron Man. Okay, I'll get off my soapbox now. On to the comic itself. We open on the splash page of the New Avengers, who are excited about their first time working together as the New Avengers. And on the very next page, they completely botched whatever it is they were supposed to do 10 minutes later. Because that's how you convince us to keep buying their books. We then jump to 10 minutes ago again? Oh no, the comic thinks it's from the New 52. So yeah, we jump back to 10 minutes ago, outside the Manhattan Federal Reserve Bank, where our heroes are battling a Chinese dragon that looks like a Green Lantern construct. Out of nowhere it came. Talking like Yoda, Iron Man is? Miles deduces that this dragon was created to keep them out of the bank, although frankly I think Miss Marvel has the most likely theory. And Captain America orders the kids to go chase after who made the dragon, while he, Iron Man, and Vision take on the dragon themselves. And yes, I'm calling him Miles because he will never be Spider-Man to me. They go into the building, and Miss Marvel spots something horrible. We then cut back to the other Avengers outside, because we can't spend more than one page at a time on any given plot point, I suppose. Unfortunately, the dragon seems pretty damn invincible. Anything that'll slow this monster down. Any other ideas? Anyone? Hell, I bet Captain America would even take Steve Rogers' advice at this point. Because successors are well known for not heeding the advice of their elders. We then jump back again to the kids, because this comic's on speed, where Miss Marvel is lamenting over how the floor is apparently littered with dead bodies. Normally I wouldn't argue that it's necessary to see the excessive amounts of gore, but this is literally all we see. How are we supposed to be mortified with Marvel if we don't know exactly what the hell she's looking at? Then Green Dr. Manhattan shows up to tell the kids that the Western economy will soon fall. Because he killed a bunch of people? You are now witness to the beginning of something much bigger than your simple minds can envision. Oh my god! He's gonna lecture them on world economics! Is that the radioactive man? No, this is the radioactive man.
Billowing backpacks, radioactive man! It's the worst villain of them all! The Scoutmaster!
I see him, Fallout Boy.
Go get him, Scouts! Don't be afraid to use your nails, boys!
The radioactive man makes short work of the short heroes, then Miles wraps him up with every bit of spiderwebbing that he has. Webbing up the radioactive man causes the dragon to dematerialize, I think. Then the senior heroes meet with the new recruits inside, bringing us to the scene of failure on page 2. Captain America chews Miles out for letting him go. Wait, what? Radioactive man got away? Why didn't he stick around to finish the job? If these kids really had no effect on him, they should all be dead by now. Miles explains that he let him get away because a man would have died. What man? There was nobody else here. Wait, are you talking about that guy on the catwalk who's only now falling for some reason? He wasn't even in the comic until now, and he was perfectly fine. And Miles didn't let the radioactive man get away. He tried webbing him up, that didn't work, and then he was gone. Captain America is chewing the kid out for making a bad decision that he didn't even make. And in the moment you chose to let the enemy go, in that moment, did any of you stop to ask yourselves how many more lives you were putting at risk? No? Good. Then we recruited wisely. Welcome to the team. Screw thinking about the safety of others, you all need to be as reckless as possible. Yeah, I get that they're trying to make it so Cap is commending Miles for their efforts to save the life of one man, who, again, wasn't even in the scene until 3 panels ago, but it's worded so badly that it sounds like not caring about collateral damage and the loss of civilian life is what they're actually looking for in a team member. Iron Man detects the presence of another magical entity materializing 10 blocks away, because he's the one who would detect magic, of course. Then they all fly off to confront it in the next issue. All new, all different Avengers, disassemble. This is confusing and pointless. It's too short for us to get a feeling for who these characters are, and it moves too quickly for us to get invested in why we should care about them. It's supposed to show us how awesome these new Avengers are, but how awesome can they really be if all of their combined efforts wasn't enough to stop one villain? And in this day and age, when non-comic readers are more familiar with the Marvel Cinematic Universe than they are the Marvel comics, what is even the point of introducing us to all these characters who clearly aren't the Avengers? Shouldn't they try to cash in on the popularity of these more well-known characters? Since these new Avengers were such a disappointment, maybe the Teen Titans will be better. I honestly have no idea what to expect from this comic. I hear fans of the original Teen Titans cartoon think it was really dumb, but since I could never get into the original cartoon myself, maybe I'm safe since my expectations don't have all that far to fall. The cover depicts the chibified Teen Titans having a slumber party. While Raven draws on the face of whoever the hell this is, she says, "First rule of slumber parties, don't fall asleep."
Don't fall asleep.
Our comic opens with a rather pissed-off looking Raven and Starfire trying to kick Robin, Cyborg, and Beast Boy out of Titan's Tower. Why are they doing this? There are absolutely no boys allowed at the slumber party! Oh, sweet lord, this is gonna be annoying. Since the boys aren't allowed in the tower, Beast Boy asks Robin what they're going to do now. "I'm headed out on patrol. The girls may think it's party time, but crime never takes a slumber party." Yeah, I'm sorry for the Batman voice, but come on. That dialogue with that face? That's a Batman line. Beast Boy and Cyborg leave Robin in the dust so they can go bowling. What were they gonna do if they hadn't been banished from the tower? Did they just forget that there's superheroing to do? Back inside, Starfire is unfamiliar with slumber party customs, and Bumblebee explains that slumber parties aren't for slumbering, but for staying up all night. "Let's play games. Should we break out the Ouija board?" "Hey, I got an idea for a party game. Let's contact the devil!" My god! Thankfully, Raven and this other girl named Jinx put the kibosh on that. Then they decided to give each other makeovers. The extent of which is simply piercing one of Starfire's ears by punching it with some brass knuckles. Okay. Then they start playing Truth or Dare. "What's the weirdest thing about being on Earth for you?" Trying to figure out how some comics ever got greenlit. Meanwhile, at the bowling alley, Beast Boy and Cyborg are bowling a nice, friendly game, while the Justice League and the Green Lantern Corps are in the background. Okay. And Beast Boy protests Cyborg's latest strike, thinking that he used his advanced targeting system to do it. I guess we're just going to ignore the gaping hole in the wall that Cyborg just made. But this is all inconsequential, because Nacho Time! Did Gurr from Invader Zim write this?
And then a gorilla knocked down the pins, and a robot boy shows up and takes them down to BLAM! Then the gorilla says, "Why you do that?" And then there's Nacho Time!
Back at the tower, the other girls dare Raven to dance the hokey pokey. They quickly get bored of that, and Jinx draws up, I don't know, some kind of Mad Libs game, which says that Starfire will one day marry someone named Trigon. God, how many crimes could they be stopping right now? I get it. Everyone needs some downtime, but this is just painful. Thankfully, this madness comes to an end as Starfire spots Robin hiding in the air vent. As serious as Tim Drake is about being Batman's protege, I'm pretty sure he should be more evasive than this. He says that he was just hanging around to make sure that they were safe, especially if Starfire is going to marry Trigon, and then some demon shows up from out of nowhere.
Did someone summon me?
Whoa. I think there's something funny in the ink used to print this comic. It would appear that Trigon, who is also Raven's father, was accidentally summoned here since his name was written down on the magic piece of paper from Raven's room, so he's come to marry Starfire and rule the world with her by his side. Raven, however, will have none of this. Wouldn't you rather marry Jinx anyway? She's already a bad guy. I end up with Starfire, she ends up not with Cyborg, everyone wins.
Stop shipping everyone, Robin!
Before things can escalate into a little action, because why would we want that in a superhero comic, Raven defeats her father by reminding him that this is a girls' slumber party, which means no boys allowed! The next time you see a crime in progress, all you need to do is tell the perpetrator that they aren't allowed to do that. That'll stop them. But yeah, that just makes Trigon disappear and reappear at the bowling alley, where Cyborg and Beast Boy show him a good time. Da-da-da-da-da-da. So that was Teen Titans Go, and it makes me want to go all over it. Don't get me wrong, I'm first in line as far as DC goes making comics with a little levity in them, but this was annoying. I want to see the Teen Titans fighting bad guys and saving the world, not become chibis and laugh and giggle like they're on speed. I came here to see the Titans, not a cheap ripoff of My Little Pony. Teen Titans, go! To the box! Be sure to tune in next week when we'll tumble down the rabbit hole once more and hopefully read something a bit more wonderful. See you later.
Subscribe, like, follow, comment.